everybody, this is Miss Sorrells. We're going to be doing video 13.1 today, and we're actually going to start with your foldable. We're going to add little pieces every day, like Mr. Nelson was saying. So we're going to actually flip to the back, and I'm going to show you what an inequality looks like, and then what it looks like on a graph. So the first one we're going to do is B, we'll just number this number 1. B is less than or equal to a 2. You can also write this by flipping this around. If you flip the sign to the other side, it would be 2 is greater than or equal to B. So when you're doing this in class, you don't need to draw a huge number line. Draw a number line with what we're going to call 5 notches, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5 dash marks, whatever you want to call them. There's your number line, okay? And you're going to use these 5 to graph this. So here we go. We're saying B is less than or equal to a 2. Make the center one your 2, okay? That way you don't have a huge long line. Now we want it less than or equal to. Your solution needs to be less than a 2. Everything on the left of a number line means less than. So this would be a 1, and this would be a 0. And then over here would be all the numbers greater than a 2, and we don't want the ones greater than a 2. Okay, you'll get more details of this in the video, but for now let's do another one. Let's do x is less than a negative 2. So x is our variable. That's what we want to find. We want to find all the values that are less than negative 2. Or you can write it as negative 2 is greater than x by reversing your sign and flipping places. Draw your number line. Just draw your middle one, which is going to be a negative 2. And then 2 in front of it, 2 behind it. This would be a negative 1. This would be a 0. This would be negative 3. And this would be negative 4. So x is less than negative 2. So here's your negative 2. Notice the circle is open. It is open because there's not an equal to sign. There's an equal to sign up here. I don't know why it's delayed. An equal to sign up here. And so we closed in the circle. Down here, there's not an equal to sign. It has to be smaller than negative 2. It cannot be negative 2. So now you do an open circle. Okay. Number 3. Let's do, this will be the last one. Y is greater than 3. Or you can flip it and say that 3 was less than y. Okay, so y is going to be anything greater than a 3. Draw your number line. Here's your 0, or not your 0, sorry. I'm used to putting 0. That's your 3. That's your answer. Okay, and then 2 in front and 2 behind. So this would be 2, this would be a 1, a 4, and a 5. So here's your dot. There's no equal to sign, so the circle is open. Cannot be a 3, and y has to be greater than 3. So anything bigger than a 3. So this is the basics of a graph. This will be there for you to look back at as nice and neat examples on your foldable. Now go to your video notes. So we're actually passed out to you in class. Okay, I'm not going to spend time on this. This is a chart that tells you how to read the symbols if you're still getting confused. What this says right here is super important. An inequality that says 2 values are not equal. There's not an equal sign. And that means there are multiple solutions. You can have lots of answers. Okay? Alright, let's look. Number 1. We're going to focus on graphing it today and rewriting it in an equivalent form. So, y is greater than 3. You can also flip the position of the 3 and y. So, whoops. The 3 will be on the left, the y is over here, and when you do that, you have to flip your sign. So it gets flipped like that. So you can say y is greater than 3, or 3 is less than y. So find your 3. It is not an equal to 1, so the circle is open, and it's y is greater than 3. So anything bigger than 3. All of these on the number line are bigger than 3. Any of those could be your solution. Here's how you check your solution. You pick any value on the number line that's graphed and check to see if it works. So let's say I want to try 8. I'm going to pick 8 because it's in my solution part of my number line, and I'm going to plug it back into the inequality. So y, we're saying it's going to be 8. 8 is greater than 3. Is that true? Yes. Okay, try another one. Let's pick a 6. Is 6 greater than 3? Yes. We are going to stress the importance of checking your work because this can be tricky at times, but if you check your work, you will immediately know whether you've done your graphing right or wrong. Okay, let's look at the next one. P is less than or equal to 9. What that tells me is that my circle is going to be a closed circle on my graph because it says equal to. This line underneath means equal to. Alright, let's write it another way. So I'm going to flip my 9 to the left, my P on the right, and that means I have to flip my sign. So either of those could be, they mean the same thing. So P is less than 9. Anything less than 9 is a solution. So here's my 9. I need a closed circle, and all of these values are less than 9. They're on the left side of the 9. So to check my solution, I can pick any of them. Let's, I don't know, pick a -4. Put a -4 in for P. -4 is less than or equal to 9. Is that true? Yes, a negative is always smaller than a positive. Let's try a 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 9? Yes. Let's try it using this one. 9 is greater than or equal to, let's pick a -1. Is that true? Yes. All of those, I know I've graphed it right. Okay, so that's if you just see it written. Now let's look with words here. So the temperature is less than 3.5 degrees outside. You have to write the inequality. Whew, couldn't think for a second. So we got to pick a variable. This is about temperature. So the first thing we need to do is say that T is going to equal temperature. Okay. And it's less than 3.5 degrees. So T is less than 3.5 degrees. It doesn't say equal to, so it has to be smaller than 3.5 degrees outside, which that's kind of a weird sentence, but let's just go with it. Okay, the other thing I can do is switch the position here. That means I will flip my sign, so 3.5 is greater than the temperature. So find where your 3.5 would be. Here's 3.5. Decide whether it's a closed or open circle. It's open because there's no equal to sign, and we need all the values that are less than that. So that means the ones on the left. All of these plus more could be solutions. So to check my work, let's plug in a number for T. Let's pick 0. Is 0 less than 3.5? Yep, I know I've done it right. Let's pick -10. Is -10 less than 3.5? Yes. Okay. All right. You've been working hard. Now let's apply this knowledge. All right. Google Doc question number 1. Which is the correct solution for, and I'm not going to read it because that'll give it away. You need to be able to read this sign. Pick the correct solution and write it down. This time, due to space, you can just pick your answer and put it right here so that when you get to the actual Google Doc online, you can just have your answer ready to go. So here is the question. If you're listening closely, you'll hear me. Make sure you pick the one that has the closed or open circle. Pay attention to the closed or open circle. Don't just pick one. Pay attention to detail. Alright, next one. Google Doc question 2. What is another way to write y is blank, I'm not going to say it, 14 as an inequality? Pick another correct way to write this. Alright. Who do I sound like? Google Doc question 3. I should try the hand. Come on, children. Miss Sorrells can't do it. Alright, Google Doc question 3. Here you go. Alright, moving back to the notes. Where did I put mine? Okay, number 4. Let's move on. Oh, I gotta zoom out. The cost to go to the stock show is a minimum of $4.50. We've got some words in here that are going to come up. You got to know what they mean. So minimum means at the least, or the smallest amount possible. Okay, smallest amount. So the smallest amount you could pay is $4.50 to go to the stock show. So let's create, I don't know, let's use S for stock show. Okay. So here's our variable, and let's figure this out. So we know we're going to start with S, and let's figure out greater than or less than or equal to. Okay, the cost to go to the stock show is a minimum of $4.50. That means it's the smallest amount. Alright, so S will be greater than $4.50 because the smallest possible thing or amount is $4.50. You could even just put 4.5 because the zero is not necessary. Okay, and let's figure out if it's equal to or not. Now, let's say one ticket costs $4.50. You might pay that. So in this case, if it says minimum, it means also equal to. That is a possible amount to pay. So now let's do it the other way. Flip your order and then flip your sign. So it would be $4.50 is less than the cost to the stock show. So let's find our answer between 4 and 5. So right here. It is equal to, so we need to color in the circle, and it's anything greater than $4.50. The $4.50 is the minimum amount or the smallest amount we'll pay. Okay, let's check our work. Here's our check section. Let's pick an 8. Okay, let's say 8 in place of the S is greater than or equal to $4.50. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. So we have done our graph correctly. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Alright, I'm going to do you a favor. This will actually be the last one we're doing due to time. Okay, so the highest amount of money that someone had today was $8, and let's cross off or less. Y'all know Miss Sorrells always makes a mistake. Okay, the highest amount of money that someone had today was $8. So you are not going to have anything greater than $8. So let's do M for money. Okay. And then, so M, and then let's figure out greater than, or less than, or equal to. So the highest amount somebody had was $8. So everything else is going to be less than $8. And I'm not going to put the 0.00. Now let's decide if it's equal to or not. Alright, and this one could be equal to because somebody might have that $8 amount. Okay, now let's write it the other way. Flip your position of your variable and your integer, and then flip your sign. So 8 is greater than the amount of money that somebody would have today. So find your 8 and pick. It's going to be closed in because it's an greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, and it's anything less than 8. All of these are possible solutions. To check your work, pick one. Let's pick a 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 8. Is that true? Yes. I don't know. Let's pick an 8 because the dot is actually circled in. Is 8 less than or equal to 8? Yes, it is because it's equal to it. Okay? So, these are examples of inequalities. Inequalities means that you can have multiple answers. All of these are possible solutions. And that's what makes it a little bit different than an equation. An equation is one answer and one answer only. Inequalities have endless opportunity. So, go ahead and let's do Google Doc question 4. Like I said, you're not going to do number 6 because of time. So, you're welcome. Google Doc 4. Alright, last but not least, Google Doc question 5. And you know you couldn't get out of the video with the wonderful Mr. Nelson! Bye kids! See you tomorrow!